Hi everyone, this is just a little video promoting my composition live stream coming up the 23rd of April at 1 p.m. Mountain Time at facebook.com/joyglassmanmusician. Today I'm just going to cover basically one way that I really like to write melodies, and that is through target-based melody writing. In other words, we'll basically take a couple targets and try and weave a melody around it to just get us started writing. Okay, so we're in B flat minor here. We're going to write a little ballad melody, and the three notes I think we should choose just for this demonstration are D flat, then F, A flat. Those notes are all very pretty in the key of B flat minor, and we'll be able to create a convincing melody with that. So what I like to do with this method is I like to basically create shapes or directions and sort of repeat them so the melody has a little bit more meat to it, has a little bit more validity. So we're going to go D flat, and then D flat, and then down to fourth, because that's usually pretty safe if you're starting on a chord tone or a nice pretty tone in B flat minor. Back up to D flat, and we're going to go up, and then we're going to go down, and then we're going to enclose our next target note, which is that F. So we're going to know the note below, E flat, then the note above, which is G flat. And then instead of landing right on F, I think it would be better if we did a suspension onto that. Otherwise, I think it might be a little bit too on the nose. Okay, and now we're going to move this here over so we can get to this A flat. Okay, so now we're just going to repeat the directions, not necessarily the exact shape of the directions. So we're gonna start, instead of starting on the downbeat like before, we're just gonna start on an upbeat. So target down, and I'm gonna do this lower chromatic neighbor because I think sometimes diatonicism, while it can be really convincing, it can sometimes be a little bit bland. So we're gonna do the E natural, up, up. And since we started on the upbeat, we don't have to tie it. Back down, and then we're gonna enclose back to this A flat. So we got the note below, but we've got two half steps that we can play with from this B flat to the A flat. So we're going to play with them both. And then just like before, we're going to suspend, but I'm going to suspend not quite as quickly, or not quite as slowly, and do that. So we're going to do A flat, okay? And then so we've got two calls, and now I'm going to have a little bit of response. So the call is basically measure 1 through 2 and measure 3 through 4. And so we're going to just do a really common shape, which is 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay, from the target note, we're trying to get back up to the D flat. So 1, 2, 3, 1, and then I'm just going to do that in the verse on the 5th of A flat. So E flat, down, down, up a third. Same shape, just backwards, basically, or flipped on its head. Okay, so let's go ahead and record that in Logic. Let's have Tyrell help us out here. So we're writing a ballad. All right, and then, since we're starting on measure 2, it's a 10 measure phrase if we're going to double it. So we'll do that, okay? Scoot this out just a little bit so we can kind of see what's happening, okay? All right, here we go. Good, and I made a couple boo-boos, but with the wonders of MIDI, I can fix it. Make that a little bit longer so it's not a little staccato nothing, okay? Where did I goof? Let's see. Got it. Okay, let's loop that. Repetition is good in music. Good. Let's talk about how to harmonize this, okay? So like I said, we're in B flat minor. So usually a good place to start would be like on your root, which is B flat minor. So we're going to start there, and then this G flat to F, to me, I think what would sound really nice is if we went, if we had like all of those sounds encompassed in the relative third. The third chord of B flat minor, which would be D flat. I'll make that a whole note because that's an arrival point, and my finale just did something. Okay, that's an arrival point. Good. And then a good way to get between those is just the 5. We'll do that down an octave. So we've got B flat minor 11, which I think is colorful way to play a minor chord, and then we've got a 5 of D flat major, and then we've got a D flat in the melody on that and of 3, so we're going to have a A flat 7 sus. It's D flat and A flat relative, that makes a sus chord. And then we've got D flat major 11 because we've got the G flat in here as well as the F, and I think that'll cover all those sounds and be really pretty. Okay, so we've got basically kind of a new tonic in a sense. But now we have to, if we're going to complete the cycle, a convincing way to do that is to follow the phrase model, which is tonic, predominant, dominant. So we've got sort of our tonic area, and we want to get to predominant in this next arrival point. And a good predominant chord, you've got either a 2 chord, a B flat minor, or a 4 chord, a B flat minor. So it'd be like C half diminished or E flat minor 11. And we're going to choose E flat, but we have this suspension here that we have to deal with. And in jazz, a lot of times predominants are preceded by the half step above's diminished 7. Usually that's on a 2 chord, but we're going to do it on this 4 chord instead and sort of borrow that. So half step above E flat would be E natural, and then to our E flat. Oops, E flat. Good. So then this chord would be E diminished 7, and then this would be, we've got an A flat in the melody, so it'd be E flat minor 11 again. Look at that, minor 11s. Good. So how do we get to this E flat minor 11 in jazz if we're ever trying to change the key? We're not really changing a key, but if we're ever trying to imply something, or everything is basically revolving around 2 5s in jazz. So we've got, if a 2 5 to E flat minor, it'd be F, B flat. And if it's a minor 2 5, it would be F minor 7, flat 5. Some of you are going to be wondering why I don't write that as a half diminished, because I don't write it as a half diminished because it's hard to read to tell the difference between a half diminished and a fully diminished on the fly. If you're sight reading, everyone can see minor 7, flat 5 more easily, and that's what I'll do. So, so the 5 of E flat minor would be B flat 7, and since we've got a G flat, that's sort of a flat 13, so we're going to do B flat 7 alt. Okay. Okay, so like I said before, this sort of motion happens a lot in the 2 chord of jazz, and since it's the 4, it's also the 4 of B flat, but we're going to treat it like another 2 of a 2 5 because jazz. Okay, so A flat, it will be our 5, and we'll do A flat 7, and then what really this allows us to do is have a nice chromatic walk up to the 5 of B flat, which I think is really cool. So we'll have F7, and since we've got a D flat in the melody, we'll do F7 alt over A. Okay, so we got B flat minor, so we're going tonic, predominant, dominant, and a nice 5-bar phrase, which sounds a little bit unbalanced, but I think that's hip. I think 4-bar phrases, while are useful, sometimes it can be, again, a little contrived. So let's add these chords here. First, we'll start with the bass. Good. Let's repeat that. Now let's add the harmonies with the piano. Good. Let's get rid of that little last chord, shorten, and I think I missed, oh, I accidentally played a D flat in there. Does that sound okay? Oh, let's make that a C. Yeah, that's better. Okay. All right, let's hear what this sounds like. Let's hear if it's convincing. Rubato there, so the rhythm's weird. Good. I think that sounds pretty convincing. And just to recap, we basically have a D flat triad: D flat, then F, F, then A flat, back up to D flat. And that's just a way to get started writing. It's pretty simple, the D flat to the F, and then I just copied the directions of this thing. I added a few ornaments in here, but I copied the directions. We go down, then up, and then enclose, and then down, then up, and then enclose, and then we have our response, which is just a really common piece of language in melody writing. So hope you enjoyed this video. If this interests you, check out the composition live stream this Thursday the 23rd at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, facebook.com/JoeyGlassmanMusician. Thanks so much for checking out the video.